Deborah Prentice and welcome to Olsem Wanem. In our first episode for 2016, we look at education. The month of February marks the beginning of a new academic year for school children here in Papua New Guinea. A new year brings not only a new set of challenges for the teachers, students, and parents, but also new hopes and aspirations. Judah Memafu with this story.
Education is a very integral part of human development. It shapes a young mind and opens up the possibilities to the world around us. Education can fuel dreams and guide you with purpose to achieve them. With a new year upon us, Olsem Wanem took to the streets to ask the general public their views and highlight what they may be looking forward to, some of the challenges they anticipate to encounter, and getting ready and getting back to school. But more importantly, tell us why they think education is important.
Well, I think education is important because it's part of the future. And if they are more educated properly, they can have a better future.
We think education is important because lo gubla sidang dulu lo biar in time. Our family staff got the family na selain got the family lo biar in time. We think education is important.
Education is good because you can, like when you get educated, you get a better future.
Education is important lo biar in future life lo mi staff na. But make it one something long and long to family na lo future bien come lo mi long but mi start long.
The academic year commences on the 1st of February 2016 with teachers and students gearing up, some for a new grade, others yet for a new school, but all have an expectation on what to achieve in this year.
Boys from me all talking me all promising me big plan now go grade 9 I'm talking I'm become a pilot. Okay, second boy I'm promising me become an engineer.
Just to work hard and then more goals.
To do well in the school, try my best to go to national secondaries.
With hype surrounding the new year, there certainly is an air of expectation around us. But what is education and why is education so important?
Education really is a process. It's a process of change that occurs in the life of a person. And for that change to occur, it takes some training, learning. I think both of those are very important. And that contributes to the term education. And or you can also say education is imparting skills and knowledge to another person who may be disadvantaged to learning aspects that are there or that is available.
I believe if a child is well educated, then the child will at least know how to present themselves in social media and in social, like in environmental, around people. Their relationship with people will be more at a higher level than an uneducated person.
Education was a good plan all pikinini law. We get a pikinini now nip all nip law pikinini all need law education because law all was now immigrant law life law white man so all must got this law education laws kisi sawe law this law.
Education is important investment. In nowadays, where we're living, it's like if you have a good education, you'll have a good job and you'll find life much more easier than not completing or having a proper education.
Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone, and I repeat everyone, has the right to an education. The question I'd like to pose is, how much of that is true for Papua New Guinea?
Welcome back. Education in today's time is of utmost importance as it provides one with not only a pathway to a stable, balanced, self-dependent life, but also imparts ethical values exposure, and is a vehicle of change for a better society. We talked to human resource expert Jerry Wemin on how this is important, and City Mission CEO Rod Brown on how he puts these words into action.
Human resources are like natural resources. They're often buried very deep. You have to go looking for them. They're not just lying around on the surface. You have to be able to create circumstances where they can show themselves. These words are spoken by Sir Kenneth Robinson, a decorated English educationist, and whose words echo very, very deep.
Human resource management is really about people. There are different levels of human resource practices. One, micro level, you're looking at HR as being individuals. Their skills, their knowledge, their training, their abilities, their performance, their reward recognition, and all of those things, the place that they work, a safe environment, guidelines.
How many times have we walked down the street and looked at street children and think to ourselves how much better the world would be without them, without their begging and without their pestering? Yet do we ever realize that these very same people are human beings, equal to you and to me?
Education mipla sample looking mo key to future mipla bad. Suppose siga sample kain good pla line lo. Kambe ken lo kain street life na looking mipla mangi ose kain lo street ose mipla salip something stop o kain osem. Okay, you pla salip something kain no bipla mangi. You pla ga sample kain background do school o disla kain ose ma kambe ken do mipla na aski mipla somta to yes mipla ga ose ose. Okay, mipla ken sponsor mipla disla kain. Well, we can continue our education in money talks by me make it line something na. Mipla sampla kain dreams lo mipla lo kama sampla kain man tu. Suppose mipla continue education mipla bat. Mipla kam ba mo se kain.
Every day normally lo lifetime mi misa stab misa gaman ka around lo town toll na misa go back and laos. Misa gam stab salimol memory card no lele santi nambat na misa go back. Yeten lo dream lo mi like misa like lo kama bom la mota make. Important lo man meri ba kama bat big la sign be like sponsor lo government lo can sponsor him to sign or mangi lo go lo technical school number sometimes more experience na go paini work number na work.
There is an untapped potential of wealth hidden, a diamond in the rough that we almost all the time fail to see.
I'm Ron Brown. I'm the CEO, Chief Executive Officer for City Mission. But just in a nutshell, City Mission has been around for a little over 23 years. We were birthed in the heart of a banker by the name of Larry George to work with young people off the streets of the city, in particular young men off the streets of the city that were rascals and causing problems. When they come in to our program, they're interviewed here at Koki, for instance, and in Leh at Boblong Youth Hostel. And then they are taken up that day up to either the farm at Swambu, 11 Mile in Leh, or to our farm here in Marigetta, and enrolled in the program. The first phase being kind of a pre-candidate phase where we evaluate and we test them for their literacy levels and numeracy levels. And within the first 5 to 7 days, we get them into a literacy class at whatever level they qualify at. Pre-beginners all the way through to advanced and professional skills classes. So that process begins almost immediately. They also go through basic Christian classes that they get enrolled in immediately too. Everything is a teaching opportunity. So they begin in the garden. It's hard work, but we start to teach them fundamentals of organic farming. They eventually get the opportunity to work in different other areas at the farm with our livestock. Our kitchen, cooking. We have here in Moresby, we have a coffee shop where they learn hospitality, small business operation, customer service, all of those kinds of things. They work in our workshop. They go through a vocational training program as they progress, where they learn primarily trade skills, block, lane, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, a little bit of IT. We put some skills underneath their belt. In the meantime, this whole literacy program is going constantly. And then eventually, towards the tail end of the program, then we begin to engage them in jobs in the city.
When we write them off in our minds when we see them because of their scruffy appearances and unkept state, we also shut off ever seeing the needs they have and the potential these futures of tomorrow have. a future we can have the power to influence and give these children and ourselves a better tomorrow.
From a human resource point of view, every human being is an asset of our country. Every human being must have a way of contributing to the economy of the country. And if we really want to develop the economy, we really need to make sure every single capable adult from the age of, say, 15, 16, 17, 18 and above, they should see their own faces. They should see their dreams in the national plan. They can see themselves fitting into something in the country so they can meaningfully engage in some productive activity.
One of the pillars, as stated in PNG Vision 2050, is the human capital development, gender, youth, and people empowerment. So instead of thinking of getting rid of street children, why don't we look at giving them opportunities so that they can better themselves and be a productive contributor to us all.
Many of us are more concerned with obtaining white-collar jobs. There's very little emphasis on blue-collar jobs. According to human resource expert Jerry Wemin, our country's focus in education has been geared more toward producing people for office desk jobs than industrial work. Yet some of the fastest growing countries in the world are built on an industrial population and not the desk job.
A lot of people forget about what Vision 2050 really means. In a simplistic term, Vision 2050 means that by year 2050, Papua New Guinea would like to position itself as one of the top 50 nations of the world. HR has the greatest impact on the achievement of the Vision 2050 and the Human Development Index. And that means every citizen and every child must be educated.
Being an educated and productive person goes beyond just having a piece of paper, certificate, or degree. It goes beyond just sitting in a classroom. How you and I are able to conduct ourselves in a proper manner amongst our families, friends, and communities, and the values we hold on to are also part of that education process.
I totally agree that education is important. If a society is educated, you definitely will see changes in attitude, changes in approaches to meeting the total view of the government's goals and aspiration.
You look at Malaysia, you look at India, you look at China, it's the blue-collar job that transformed those countries. In Papua New Guinea, our emphasis is on everybody coming to a university, but how about the blue-collar jobs? The emphasis is not there. We need people out there we need the muscles. The country needs to engage the muscles of people to produce something for the country, because the summations of everybody else's labor into producing something for the country is the one that liberated Singapore, Japan, Korea, and the Asian countries. But here, we want everybody to go to university. We want everybody, for what jobs? We only have 5,000 to 10,000 jobs in a year. So there's a really serious mismatch between education, training, work, and so on and so forth.
We focus sometimes too much on a formally educated people, basically on literacy skills. But being educated to have a good behavior, strong values, and respect are also very important and are part of making us able to properly contribute to growing and developing our society.
We don't succeed until we have a young man or woman or child that goes back into their society or the whatever environment outside of City Mission that they may go back to, whether it's in the city or whether it's in their villages or their places. We don't breathe easy until we know they are back in that place. It doesn't end for us at graduation. You know, it's when we know that they are back in the world that they live in, but they're doing it and they're productive and they're changed. Their lives are dramatically transformed. by the power of God and whatever tools that we can put in their hands at City Mission.
Singapore is only 10 years older than Papua New Guinea. And in a space of 50 years, Singapore has become one of the first world nations. And it's only 10 years older than Papua New Guinea. So for Papua New Guinea, we are 40. They are 50 years old. And yet if you see Singapore, Singapore is an engine room, one of the engine room in the region because of its people. They don't have any oil. They don't have any mining activities. All they have is the number one resource there is the people. They manage the people, and the people manage the country.
Maybe the system and mechanics currently in place needs to be reviewed thoroughly and properly, and let us implement something that can cater to grow our country. Something that is suitable for the everyday Papua New Guinean, not borrowed castaways from another country. Something that can see us blossom into the 21st century.
Formal education, we need to look at primary, secondary education, give everybody the opportunity to read and write and do that, which universal education addresses, which is good. But post, primary and secondary education, that's where the lacking is. Look at the universities. We've got 25 to 30,000 grade 12 leavers coming out, and they're only providing 5,000 to 7,000. We have a system that's really causing a bottleneck. So what I would suggest as a way of going forward is that those kind of people should be taken into account in the area of TAFE training, in the area of blue-collar training, that everyone should, know how to get themselves trained in certain vocational area. So if they can't go to university, they should go to vocational.
I think the biggest challenge we face is for people to realize the kind of hope they have for a life that's different than what they have grown accustomed to. That's something that strikes very, very close to the heart of all of us that are involved as staff, is to begin to see hope birthed in them, that things can change, that that God wants them to have a better life. And not just to say that. City Mission's mission statement is spreading the love of God and meeting human needs. That we not only is there the voice that says God loves you, but also demonstrating that, how God loves you in a very practical way. And that would sound like a small hurdle or a small challenge, but it's a big one. That life can change, dramatically change.
My advice would be that every Papua New Guinea, if the country wants to be one of the top 58 nations in the world, every citizen should act as if that's where they want to be. The top in whatever they do, the top student, the top worker, they should push themselves to their limit. And when they push themselves to their limit, they will find out that doors do open when people do the right thing.
Education is a very vital link in the chain of development. We want a population that can produce results. You and I are the key to the changes that can happen in our lives. Development begins with us, the people. A developed and educated people means a developed, educated, productive, and progressive Papua New Guinea.
It is believed that a person who experiences a good education will become a good citizen. City Mission is an NGO successful in bringing hope and courage to the underprivileged young people who are vulnerable to illicit drugs such as marijuana and homebrew. Julie Badui Owa with more.
In today's society, regardless of the fee-free education policy by the PNG government, not all school-age children go to school. Many people question why, believing different reasons such as education barriers like having no teacher or having an untrained teacher, geographical issues, hunger and poor nutrition, or simply school-age children taking education lightly, adapting to various peer influences, which causes them to leave school at an early age. Staying out of school is a negative force imposed in the lives of these younger populations engaged in the consumption of illicit drugs such as marijuana and homebrew, gradually deteriorating a safe society for people to live in. Every individual in our society should play a much bigger role in preventing crime, especially the consumption or use of illicit drugs such as marijuana and homebrew, which are slowly chewing away rights, liberties and personal freedoms for individuals. City Mission, since its establishment in 1993, is one of the leading organizations successful in helping many underprivileged young men who are vulnerable to the consumption of these illegal drugs.
The clients and the young people, the women, the children, the young men that come to City Mission, they come to City Mission free of charge. There's absolutely nothing that is required of them to help pay for the services that can go from weeks with our women and children to more than a year with the young men that we work with.
Henry Bryan is a living testimony of drug abuse, undergone programs at City Mission as a trainee and is now an instructor for City Mission.
Me like making big plan, thank you straight. You go on City Mission. City Mission, life for me, I'm stop inside. Good thing about me starts in City Mission. Noga narap lahap, City Mission taso.
The trainees are transferred to City Mission New Life Skills Training Center at Mirigeda along Magi Highway in Central Province after completing weeks of rehab at City Mission headquarters in Port Moresby, the nation's capital.
And our program consists of taking boys off the street, boys, destitute young men, the ages 16 to 24. And we take them in and they come in, their first part of this program, they come in as PC, pre-candidate stage. And also their first 3 months here, we teach them how to work livestock. We teach them how to start seedlings and all the way up to harvest. They stay 3 months in agriculture. And after they complete their first 3 months there, they go to phase 2, which consists of kitchen, where the boys are cooking. And also we have Malalo print, where the boys learn screen printing in that phase. And the last thing in phase 2 is a maintenance crew, where they keep the grounds maintenance, or they do different things. Vocational training, we teach them welding, carpentry, plumbing, electrical, and automotive. The boys get to pick what they're interested in, 2 of them, and we teach them theory. But they don't only learn them 2. Whatever project we have going on, we come together and we build that project. So they're learning a whole lot more than just the 2 they pick. And they spend 3 months in vocational training. Then they go to phase 4. Phase 4 is when we get them a job, a casual job in the city. They work 3 months. And after that 3 months of working on the job, they are eligible for graduation. Once they graduate, we do 3 graduations a year. Once they graduate, they have another 6 months to stay with us. And that's phase 5. And so what happens, we show them, when they go to phase 4, we start showing them how to manage money, opening up a bank account, and trying to get stable back on their feet into society. But at night, we still have activities for the boys. Okay, one of the activities we have is Thursday night, we do celebrate recovery for drug addictions, alcohol addictions. Whatever addictions they have, it's open and the boys are welcome to come to the meeting. When the boys first come in, what we do, we test the boys. The week they come in, we test them and we put them in literacy. We have literacy classes from where the boys had never, if they had never been to class, we cater to what their needs. And right now we have 165 boys. Out of that 165 boys, we have probably 30 boys working in town. The boys come here and they stay here 14 to 20 months. We become family. And what we aim to do at City Mission is watch the boys come in broken, desperate, and needing help. And at the end of the program, we see them being a successful member of society.
And that's all for our first episode for 2016. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please contact us via the address showing on your screen or visit our Facebook page. From the Olsem Wanem team, have a pleasant viewing.